brothers and sisters, and welcome once again to the Self-Improvement Basis for a Community Development Talk Show. I'm your weekly host, Brother James Muhammad, and I'm honored to have on the show this afternoon one of my brothers, Brother Jesse Muhammad. Good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon, my brother.
And walaikum salam, brother, and welcome to the show. For those who are not quite familiar with my brother, he's a graduate of Prairie View A&M University. You're also a staff writer for the Final Call newspaper, and you're a motivational speaker.
Yes.
But also, you're the head of our Twitter army and social media.
Yes, sir.
And most of all, you're a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, brother.
Absolutely.
First of all, let me thank you for all you've done to help the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan with social media, Twitter. I remember him saying that he had to come into this social media kicking and screaming, but you brought him in successful. And every day, first thing I check on Facebook and Twitter is the words of the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan. So thank you for that, brother.
All praise is due to Allah. First, I want to thank you for having me on your show and to be a part of your audience here in Memphis and those that may get a chance to watch this online. And I thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for this blessed opportunity to allow me to serve in this capacity. And it's definitely exciting to see how so many people around the world have this unprecedented access to such a wonderful man.
Okay, thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Brother, first of all, social media, the black community. What are some of the pros and cons to social media?
You know, well, first of all, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said that social media can be evil or it can be good. We make it valid by the way we use it. So therefore, the pros and the cons are really determined by the person who has the weaponry in their hands, which is those smartphones, those devices. So the pros of it is, you know, the revolution is taking place on social media right now. And you know, the great thing is that many cases in particular, the killings of us, it's not like it wasn't going on before now, but now these are cases now that no longer can get swept under the rug because of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So the empowerment that young people are using it is spreading revolution all around the world. That when Ferguson was talking about hands up, don't shoot, you saw young people in Hong Kong saying hands up, don't shoot. That's the power of social media. Also, you've seen people where they have revolutionized certain things. There's been many different types of technological advancements that's been done with social media, and there's been a lot of positive local movements that have taken place coupled with what's been going on nationally. Now the cons, of course, you know, you got people that spread negative things. There's beefs that are going on between various celebrities. You got a lot of filth that's going on, but I tend to not focus on that because, you know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a principle.
That's right.
He said, you don't have to condemn the dirty glass. He said, just get a clean glass and set it next to that dirty one and let the people make the choice. So we just choosing to be that clean glass in the midst of the filth.
Okay. Now, brother, I'm a child of the 90s, rap culture. Club Beginning, PRT, Brand Nubian, KRS-One.
Mm-hmm.
There was a saying we used to say, the revolution will not be televised.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we look at our people in the struggle for justice in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 70s, in the 80s. What effect does social media have on our struggle for justice today in 2015 as it relates to social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a different time period today. You know, the young people have a certain movement that's very unique to them. You know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this, that this generation is the greatest generation we have ever produced because they're fearless and they're strong. And he said they will be the ones to make our ancestors proud. So if they're the most fearless and the greatest, I think right now they have some of the greatest tools at their hands to have this revolution, not televised just on the TV with mainstream media, but it's televised via their smartphones and the way they're utilizing it. Now the thing about it is I love about this generation is they also connected to the past because we have so much information at our fingertips now that there's many young people that know about Public Enemy. Why? Because Chuck D is on Twitter. They know about KRS-One because why? He's on social media as well. Rakim is on social media as well. So even the generations up before, they are now plugging into the new tools and connecting to this new generation. But you know, I love the fact that this generation wants to be different because each generation that comes along has to leave their favorite and their own unique mark in their footprints in the sand. So I love their creativity. I love their so rebelliousness to it. But I also see this generation, those movement leaders that are coming up, They know how to respect the past and learn from the past, but they have learned that you can't get stuck in the past. Because strategies, tactics, they can always sometimes seem the same, but you can't apply them the same way in this time. And that's why you've seen many young people with t-shirts say, this is not your grandmother and your grandfather's civil rights movement. It's not to be offensive, but to say is that we saw what you did. We learned what you did. But let us do our thing for a moment here and then keep guiding us, but don't try to block us.
For those who are just now tuning in to the Self-Improvement Basis for Community Development Talk Show, I'm honored to have on the show this afternoon my brother, my guest, Brother Jesse Muhammad, the 20th Army General. I'm going to name you that, brother, if you don't mind. Brother, as you were speaking, I was thinking, you watch the news, and you see a cop arresting a young black male, but you see the fearless youth standing around holding their cell phones. The cop have a gun, they have a cell phone.
That's right.
And they're talking to the cop, letting him know, I don't fear you, I got you on tape. And you see the aggression in this generation.
Right.
And man, it's like, I'm reminded of the movie The Black Panthers and the youth in the Black Panthers. That phone is a weapon.
That's right.
In the hands of the people.
That's right.
And it's a weapon of truth.
Absolutely, yes. That is the weapon of choice of this generation. The enemy does not fear an AK-47, a 45, a Glock, or nothing like that in our hands more than he fears that cell phone in the hands of a educated, a conscious user of it that says, I have the right to film you and I'm going to post this to my followers so we can make it go viral. And that's why now, brother, social media has become a part of the playbook of this militarized police department. All of these members of leaders of Black Lives Matter movement and some of the revolutionary ones that's coming up, now reports are coming out that the feds and the government have been tracking and following their tweets and investigating their Facebook pages and showing up at their meetings and things like that. It's COINTELPRO 2.0 that's going on. So what is it that they fear about the phone? They fear the fact that if I had shot down Walter Scott, and I shot him down like he was on the set of Django or some old slave movie, and I didn't think nobody was watching me, so I went up to his body and put a taser down on the ground on the side so I could plant something, and didn't even think to look around if somebody was filming it with the phone. It went viral. Then these different videos and stuff, Eric Garner, they didn't think anybody was filming that. Mike Brown, most of us had never even heard of Ferguson, but the first place that we saw Mike Brown his body laying in the ground for 4.5 hours was on Twitter, you see? So yes, it's very dangerous today, and that's why they're trying to make laws, trying to say you can't film me. So some rappers made a song with Jasiri S called Film the Police. They didn't say shoot the police or kill the police or down with the police. They said just film the police, because they fear that today. And that's why some officers in Cleveland, when people had their smartphones up, they sprayed them with pepper spray. I'm just peacefully recording. Why is it that? Why is it that now, brother, officers are going out into these high-risk situations with peaceful protesters, taking their badge numbers off, taking their badge names off, because they fear that smartphone? Because why? Young people are smarter than you think when they got their smartphone in their hands.
That's why they call it a smartphone.
That's why they call it a smartphone.
Now, brother, if some people say, well, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is a tool of Satan. But is it a tool of God also?
Yes. Yeah, the God in you that's utilizing it, or the Satan in you that's utilizing it, makes or validates either side. You know, I believe that, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said publicly, he said he thanked God for Steve Jobs. And we believe Minister Farrakhan to be a divinely guided man. He said he thanked God for Bill Gates. So no matter what we may think of them personally, God used them to bring forth tools for us to use them properly in this day and time. Now look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Mainstream media has put him into a prison without walls. They've trashed his name. They've trashed his image. They have blocked him from the young people. And now with these modern tools developed by all these white scientists and whatnot, and the black ones that work with him too, now he has been able to be utilizing these tools, reaching people all around the world. So he's broke free out of that prison. So that ain't Satan. That's God's man using the tools that God allowed to come into existence. So again, I always say social media is like money. money is neither evil nor good. It just depends on who possesses it.
That's right.
And some of us are bad with money, some of us are good with money. Some of us are bad with social media, some of us are good. But I'm here to tell you there's so many examples of how to do it properly that you really don't have time to really focus on those who are misusing it.
You know, as you were speaking, I'm reminded of the Holy Quran. See, they plan and Allah plan, and Allah is the best planner.
That's right, exactly.
And when you take the minister words and you twist them in the media, we can get the actual tape and tell the truth on you.
That's right, exactly.
And that's important in social media.
And you know, in politics, when people, as you know, we're in campaign season,
That's right.
there's something called rapid response. That when the camp or their political camp says something against you, they say you got at least a 23-hour window to respond back or you lost that battle. Well, now when mainstream media manipulates the minister's words, we can go and cut the video clip, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on YouTube in a way that beats them back. See, when the minister called for the 10,000 fearless, he never said what it was for. And they went and said it was to kill white people. And then we were like, no, right here in Memphis, he corrected them, called them out. So we were able to take a clip right here from the Memphis lecture, of the 10,000 fearless Justice Else tour. We put that clip out here, beat back mainstream media so bad the people start calling mainstream media liars. Why did they lie on that man like that? But that's because the power of social media that we able to get that rapid response out, and we didn't have to wait for the nightly news, and we didn't have to wait for the DVD to get to your house and hoping that you watch it, but we can get you right immediately. That's powerful.
And the youth today, they watch their phones, their iPad, more than they watch TV. Am I correct?
Absolutely, yes, they do, because you know, it's rapid information that is being streamed. And these phones have given us at our fingertips, we can access news and breaking news way faster than turning on the television. Most of the time, many of us are always on the move, you know, always on the go. So some of us really don't even hardly have desktops no more. We have iPads and laptops and smart tablets. And so, yes, they're more so looking at the phones and stuff. And now, some people always talk about, well, that makes them antisocial and things like that. You know, I seen pictures, brother, from the 70s recently for somebody that was attacking social media that's a distraction. I seen most of us back in the day, we'd be on the buses and train, and all I saw was newspapers up.
Jet magazines.
Jet magazines, Ebony. Nobody was talking. When we go to the barbershop, everybody in magazines, nobody talking. I was raised with an aunt that had a beauty salon for 40 years. Nobody wasn't talking in there hardly. People were looking at stuff. If you was in the chair, they was talking. But the point is saying is that don't knock the young people, man. That's their thing. But there's a lot of activity that's going on social media that until you're in the fold of, or as we call it, the digital trenches, you really won't understand the dynamics and the impact that it's having. But the enemy understands it. And that's why they're creating all these various different laws to try to block the use of social media for certain groups the same way they do it for foreign nations, because they're understanding that with all of these things that are going on, these young people have realized, oh man, my phone ain't just for music. My phone ain't just for playing Candy Crush. My phone ain't just for texting and tweeting, but it's now a weapon of war. And now that the young people have realized that, the enemy has to counter it.
Okay. 3 things. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and social media. The teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as defined and represented by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on social media, what effect does that have on the world?
Oh, man. You know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I had read and was told by others. At one time, he felt his message wasn't getting around the world by his representatives around the country as he felt it should be. And he made the statement that the white man has a contraption where I can put my word up and he'll send it all around the world since you all won't do it. And we've asked those who research and those that know the history, did y'all ever hear what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said was that contraption was? And then I asked the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He heard that statement, but he said he never heard the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say what that contraption was. And he said to me, he said, brother, maybe he was talking about that his man one day would have all the contraptions he needed to spread his message all around the world to reach people in the nook and crannies of the nook and crannies that he didn't get to. So now the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, people readily can ask the ministers questions. They have never had a chance to shake his hand, may never be at his dinner table, won't be in proximity to him, probably never go to a Nation of Islam mosque, but now I can ask Farrakhan a question and get a response back directly. Let me tell you some of the testimonies. One sister asked him a question on Facebook about life and purpose. The minister responded back via Facebook. She wrote him back and said that he saved her from committing suicide. That's just via Facebook. There was another brother who was warned, a young Christian pastor. He was in a fight with his elder pastor, and the pastor wouldn't let him speak. So he asked Minister Farrakhan guidance on how he should handle the elder pastor of the church. The minister sent him a tweet response. Now that pastor has licensed him. Both of them are preaching in unity, and now that pastor is using Minister Farrakhan's tweets in the pulpit as lectures. Then you have young people who are looking for guidance in college, saying they want to end their lives, saying they don't know their purpose. They're having problems with their mothers, having problems with relationships, having problems with their identity, and the minister's tweets has empowered their lives, brother. This is what social media has done for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how he has showed us how to properly use it. So that's why people said when they saw me present yesterday here in Memphis, they said, brother, you just so enthusiastic about it. I'm in love with this because I know it has freed the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because this mainstream media and this government has put him in such a prison that now with this direct access to him, it's a beautiful thing to see, brother.
You know, brother, I'm thinking about a book written by Brother Jabril Muhammad as it relates to the message and spreading the message, called A Special Spokesman.
Come on now.
And I'm thinking about Paul, Aaron, and the spreading of the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan. Because it angered me. I remember one time we would wake up and we can catch the minister on C-SPAN 4 or 5 times a day. Then all of a sudden it stopped.
That's right. They had to. They had to do it because Minister Farrakhan was dealing with the best that they could give, and they couldn't handle him. And so after the Million Man Marches, you know, they determined, they said, look, we not going to give him no negative publicity or positive publicity. Just shut him out.
The negative's good.
Yeah, and then over a 10-year span, you know, people started thinking that Minister Farrakhan was dead because they literally blacked him out. Then all of a sudden, you get a couple invites back to a college campus after being blocked for 20 years. Then we brought him down to Texas at Prairie View A&M University in 2011. Next thing you know, in 2012, 2013, he goes on the Southern College Tour. All of a sudden, he back on the college campus, but at that same time, he had just joined social media. So now he's back on the college campus, on social media. Oh, that was a powerful combination. So now at the end of his message, we say follow Farrakhan on Twitter, follow him on Facebook, join the Ask Farrakhan chat, join the Farrakhan Friday chat, and now all that electricity. So now the young people who had been blocked from the coat and the donkey that Jesus was going after, now he got them. And all the enemy is upset with that. So what happened? All of a sudden, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was inching towards his first 100,000 followers. All of a sudden, he got stripped of 80,000 followers in 2 days on Twitter, and we didn't know what happened. What happened? Then next thing you know, his followers stopped growing. Then his Facebook followers stopped growing. All of a sudden, then his account started having all these kind of issues and things like that. People start saying they was getting blocked from following him. Why did they start messing with Minister Farrakhan's Twitter account? Because they said, oh, this man done figured out another tool to get to him. And then they said the minister had the audacity to raise a Twitter army. He had the audacity to inspire young people to say, you know what? He said, raise the consciousness of social media. He said, change the conversation of social media. So during his 2013, historic YouTube series, The Time of What Must Be Done, we live tweeted that lecture series for 58 straight weeks, and Minister Farrakhan was the top trending topic on Twitter for over almost 32 straight weeks, and trended in the top for almost 80% of those broadcasts. We didn't have no budget. All we had was Minister Farrakhan's words inspiring us. And let me tell you another thing, brother. I was on tour with the Twitter book tour, and I was in Canada. There's a brother who works in Silicon Valley, goes to a Google conference every year. He said the way that the young people have had Minister Farrakhan trending, companies spend $250,000 to get that kind of trending. But Farrakhan with a word inspires young people to get him trending like that. That's dangerous, brother.
Yes. Brother, America, free press. When you listen to the minister and I listen to you, do we really have free press in America as it relates to social media?
You know, mainstream media, we know that's bought and paid for. The fifth estate, come on, it's non-existent. There's no free press here. When you got a journalist who's afraid to tell the truth out of fear of backlash, who backtrack statements, you got journalists out there that walks on eggshells on things to tweet and things like that, nah, they're definitely not free. They're bought and paid for. But we love that the young people are saying, we don't care what you do to us, we gonna post it. And there's been a lot of young people across the country who have been threatened with jail, who have been arrested for tweeting and everything, and they have not cared about it at all because they understand that being free at this period in time, either you gonna live for it or die for it. And this generation is ready to put it all on the line. And if you want to stop us from utilizing our tool, then go ahead and just take us out. Pepper spray us, put us in jail, block our Twitter account. That's okay. We probably got 6 dummy accounts that you don't know nothing about anyway. And that's what happens. And so this season of revolution, you know, I understand that we're in this season of that, you know, we boycotting this holiday season. But we had a saying in our city that 'tis the season to take action. While you getting ready for your vacation, right now young people are saying, you know what? Freddie Gray's family is gonna have a missing person at the dinner table this year. Mike Brown's family is gonna have a missing person. Tamir Rice's family, Ayanna Jones' family, Raquel Boyd, Marion Carey, all of them got an empty seat at the dinner table today. So the young people are saying, we don't have time to vacation. So we go boycott, we go march. We go do all this blocking on the Magnificent Mall in Chicago. We got some more action that's about to take place in the malls, you see? So I love the period that we in, brother. And anybody that's not excited or not energized by this moment, you got your head in the sand in the wrong thing. You got to cut the reality TV shows off because there's a war that's taking place right outside and it's right on your phone if you would just click.
Brothers and sisters, just now tuning in to the Self-Improvement Basis for Community Development Talk Show. I'm honored to have my guest, Brother Jesse Muhammad, Twitter Army General. But you know, as you were speaking, excuse me, I said, thank God that Miss Louis Farrakhan loosened this coat.
Oh boy, you so right about that. I thank Allah for that man. I first heard him, you know, on an audio cassette tape. I was in high school. And my eldest brother, Brother Derek Muhammad, gave me a cassette tape and said, you need to hear this man. I was playing on the basketball team. I wanted to be in the NBA at that time. And he said, just listen to this man. And Minister Farrakhan, that audio tape became my pregame meal. Meaning I would listen to him while I was in high school. Back then it was the big walking with the headphones, you know. And I've been feeding from him since. So, but I think the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, when people hear us, brother, say that he saved our lives, sometimes we say it so much that they think it's a cliche, but we're very serious about that.
That's right.
And the greatest thing the minister saved me from was a purposeless existence. When I thought my purpose was to shoot hoops in a basket, and I thought that my purpose was just to go work for somebody. But that man showed me something more about myself that I would have never imagined to be doing these type of things. So we thank Allah for Minister Farrakhan. He freeing us, brother. And we tell everybody, if you follow him on social media, he'll free you too.
Praise due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Now, 10, 10, 15, and overwhelming success. What effect did Facebook, Twitter, Instagram have before the movement and the march and afterwards? And what are some of the statistics post 10, 10, 15?
Yes, sir. You know, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches that all wise servants and students know where to reroute the real honor and praise to, and that's to the Most High God. And it's always important that we do that. And then knowing that any success that we had, he the one that worked through us as agents to make that impact. And when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan back in April at ITC, the seminary school in Atlanta, when he first said we going back to DC, and he said it's justice or else, I'm the type brother that he's taught us, and you are, I know you are too, and others watching. He said love anticipates need. So if he said that we going back to DC, we didn't have to call the minister and say, Brother Minister, do you need us to set up a Facebook page? Do you think we need to do this on Twitter? That very day, me and the team set up the social media pages for Justice or Else, because we already said if we going back to DC, Minister Farrakhan don't do bluffs. So if we going back to DC, we going back. So the social media campaign for it started back in April, but in truth, it started back before that. See, God knew that a certain thing was going to be called one day where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was going to need a social media army. See, we taught in the Holy Quran that Abraham, when he called the 4 birds together, breathed life into them, and each one would go into a mountain. When you look in the footnotes, he said that those birds were actually used to send messages. And there's no coincidence that the logo for the Twitter army, for the Twitter, is the bird. So these birds were used with Abraham to transmit messages, and also they said that those messages that were received by the people, it caused them to fly high. So Minister Farrakhan had already set up an army, so it's not like we had to start from scratch, Brother James. We plugged into a momentum and a mobilizational system that Farrakhan had already put in motion. So how big was it? When Minister Farrakhan went on his Justice L's tour, brother, he did something that was so joyous to us. He locked out the media. He only spoke to black media on the tour. All mainstream media, white-owned companies, he said, you get out of here. You're not allowed in here. He said, what do I need them for when I got a social media army? So all around the country, the minister toured for 7 months, 6-7 months leading up to 10-10-15. And everywhere he spoke, he had Twitter army members, Farrakhan Twitter army members that were there live tweet, putting up videos. Young people in the audience that's not necessarily a part of the Farrakhan Twitter army, but they follow him. They were live tweeting, posting videos. The minister was trending all around the country. So that built up the momentum. So the fact that mainstream media didn't say a peep about it, we didn't even care, because God had already set this thing in motion. And the way the minister maneuvered in the cities, meeting with the hip-hop artists, then he meet with the preacher, then he meet with the youth, then he had a main event, then he do another interview, all kinds of meetings. The way the minister did that tour, he was touching the people, but there was so many young people that were already following him on social media, brother. So then we get to the day, Justice Else, nobody know what to expect. I didn't either, brother. But I saw Justice Else trending every week leading up to 10-10-15.
That's right.
I saw the conversation high. And then I saw other movements and other actions. Every time an injustice happened in the country, they were using the hashtag Justice Else. Then we saw they were getting it trending even when Minister Farrakhan wasn't speaking. So I said, ooh, that's a good sign. So the day of, we was just focused on our work. We was in that media tent.
I saw that.
Had the Twitter Army station. And we were like little worker bees, brother, because we knew we had a job to do. But I will say this, I had to break away from the tent before the minister came on to deliver the message, because I had to see this for my own eyes. I went to the Million Family March in high school. I was in high school during the Million Man March. I didn't make it there, but I was at the